Well, welcome, friends. It's 12:12, time for Awareness Moments with Kyra on Friday, May 8th. And get a little bit more light on here. Is that this is a very powerful energy as we're in this full moon energies. And as we open to these full moon energies, we're really getting blasted to clear out some old patterns and ways of being. Welcome, Kimberly Rosenthal. Great to have you with us. Glad you're here. And welcome to Ginger Millman. Glad you're with us today. And it's an interesting time as these patterns are getting cleared from our consciousness. Boy, we're getting to face ourselves. Is anybody else noticing that? Woo! So welcome Amy Hart-Grobleski and Mary Helen Merzbacher. Grateful for each one of you to be here and let me know you're here. Glad to have you. You know, this is a time we're really getting to notice the patterns that have run our lives and open ourselves to the possibility of releasing those. So the thing I would like to talk about today is I want us to look at the idea of our sovereignty or our where we give our authority, power to have effects on us. You know, where do we give away our power to be in our sovereignty? Or where do we give that authority to others and to experiences and situations and belief systems, anything that would keep us from being fully self-expressed, from being willing to be ourselves, be who we are in this moment. You know, every moment we get the opportunity to decide, where does my authority lie? And as we are shaking up these times of fear and the experiences of spending time really reflecting and being with ourselves, and I know some of us are busy working and other things as well, but there is an energy that's stirred up right now. I always feel the power of a full moon. And it is such a powerful time because it begins to, you know, like really catapult my being into some deeper levels of awareness. And so one of the things I'm noticing right now is that, boy, we've got some deep places where we're getting to notice, how do I claim my own inner authority? And what stops me from doing that? You know, welcome to George Powaznik, Carolyn Helms-Lenaway, and Regina Andrews Duarte. Great to have you with us and glad you're here with me today. And as we embrace, you know, who am I and what is working for my soul and my being, and how do I claim my own authority and sovereignty? One of the first things that happens is we notice the places where we're not, where we've given power to our fear to decide that I need to be successful, I can't fail, right? The fear of failure, the fear of disapproval of others. Welcome, Jan Hill Anderson. Great to have you with us as well. And where have I given that power over? I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of being not just disapproved of, but maybe made fun of or laughed at or not taken seriously. Or where have I been afraid of not belonging, of that rejection, abandonment is always a big one. Where do I feel somehow unworthy in my being? You know, where is it that I don't feel like I'm enough, or I'm afraid that I'm not enough? And so it begins to then be a place where we begin to withdraw into ourselves, and we are not willing to just be fully expressed in the moment. Instead, I feel this, you know, hesitation about expressing whatever my opinion is or my truth. Now, I'm not an advocate for saying, oh, go just blabber out everything and be unconscious about how, you know, that has effects. Yet at the same time, most of us don't allow the truth of our being out. We are hidden and covered, and we're putting up a front and sharing an aspect of ourselves that we feel is going to be acceptable by those that we're with. And we withhold aspects of our true self and our true nature and our gifts that we have to give into the world. Welcome, Scott Gray. I'm glad you're with us. And so part of what is happening as we're getting through this time of deep reflection, of shaking loose those places where we are playing small because of our own fears, or we're giving our authority away to whether it's news media, or whether it's a conspiracy theory, or whether it's whatever it might be. We give our authority to decide what's true, or society. We give our authority over to society to tell us, well, this is the way you're supposed to be. And if you have a different opinion, different way of perceiving, boy, you better get with the program, right? Now, the funny thing is, not only does that happen to us out here, welcome Misty Fain and Gil Gallegos, I'll say it right, and welcome Janice Gerlich. Great to have you all here with us. So how is it we give our authority away and then feel frustrated because we're withholding aspects of ourselves, or we're waiting to see if someone else is going to agree with me? And in fact, I'm righteous about my opinion and about my belief because I feel a need to defend something. And that defensiveness is a good signal that your ego is up and running the show. All right, that there's an ego here that wants your approval, that wants others to agree with you, and and maybe even is giving a kind of an attacking energy against what others are perceiving and their perceptions, because I don't actually own and honor my own perceptions and my willingness to just be who I am and then express myself fully. So therefore, I have to push against you because I need you to approve of me because I don't approve of me. And in this process, part of what's happening is our willingness to notice those places we do this, so we can come back to the healing consciousness within ourselves to say, I'm okay being who I am, and I can not need you to be an authority for me. I'm willing to be my own authority, to be at home in myself. And I am not going to die if I don't get your approval or agreement with me. And yet many of us, boy, the fear is so big. It's like that. It's as if I am actually going to die if you don't give me that. I mean, it's like our body has literally physical reactions to us seeking approval, or not looking foolish or stupid, or our being afraid of failing. This really touches home for me. As I do these videos every day, it really brings up, oh boy, the place in me that for years was afraid to just speak and allow what wants to come through. Oh my gosh, I might say something that upsets somebody. I might get disapproved of. And I don't know that I was consciously thinking that, but I was holding myself back, from saying what is true in my own being. And people will say, well, wait, Kyra, you're one of the most self-expressed people I know. Yes, and I hold back so much out of the fear of someone rejecting that, or my upsetting the apple cart, so to speak, right? Creating a negative response in some way. And so to recognize, when I went through my oneness training, one of the things we worked on was that when you awaken and when you open to that greater alignment to the experience of the moment, of just being in the moment, literally things just fall out of your mouth. You have no filter to say, oh, don't say that, it's going to upset somebody. So you become more fully self-expressed. Now, part of what we get to look at is, do I do that? Is my nature to do that with clarity and a loving presence, or an invitation to a greater view. You know, yesterday we talked about the differing views that people have. And in those views, you know, when we take ourselves into a higher space where we can see all the views and embrace them all, I don't need you to agree with me. I see that your perspective actually strengthens me and brings me a wider awareness than I can have by just having my own perspective. So I need to hear and know how you perceive and think, or I am constantly limited. But I'm not going to get that from you if I am withholding my own opinion. How can I expect you to share yours honestly if I'm withholding myself? So where is it I've given my authority away so that I can feel safe? And what is it that I want to feel safe? I want my ego to feel safe in that moment. And my ego wants to know that, you know, that it's going to be okay. It's going to survive. It always is on survival mechanism. And that's what creates all the fear. But if I don't have a need for that, because I am aligned with the truth of my being, with my divine spark, the divinity that is unique and wondrous as me, then I can just show up and be fully present for myself and for you. And I can give you the allowance to be fully present for yourself. I mean, what a beautiful thing that is. Welcome, Gandhari and Charlotte. Glad to have you with us. And this is a powerful, powerful time of releasing long-held patterns, karmic awareness, places that we've continued to perpetuate fear in our world. And it begins inside of each one of us, recognizing how we've given away our authority and beginning to realign ourselves to the truth of our being. Actually, when I'm in my own sense of authority and inner spiritual power, this is not an outer power or force. It's simply an awareness that I am who I am. I am that I am. And I am aware and willing to be that, and therefore I allow you to be more of that. So I don't need to convince you that I'm right, or I don't need to be convinced that you're right. I can hold the divine paradox and the awareness that we can both have our various ways of being, and how beautiful to experience what you have to offer. See, when I am open to that, I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I'm willing to express and not withhold those parts that I think you might not approve of. It's funny how I place a whole consciousness on you. This is what we call projection. I project my fears, and then I withhold expressing what is mine to express. We need your unique and wondrous expression in the world. We are not complete without each one of us. Every one of us has a gift to offer. And so as we begin to open and be willing to be more fully self-expressed, to see the fear as a pattern that is being released, as a programming by society that we'll be safe if we're in fear. You know what? We're going to be what we're going to be, whether we're in fear or whether we're in joy. So why not choose joy? Why not choose harmony within ourselves? Welcome, Wendy Hoggett and Sherry Wilder Conrad. I've got my aunt here. I love you. And thank you for opening, every one of you, Christina Rathbun, to this time and to claiming your own inner authority, to notice the places that you are wanting that approval or others to give you the authority, and begin to just come back and acknowledge the willingness to be your own being. I, for one, am deeply grateful for each one of you and the unique expression you bring to the world. You truly complete our wholeness by who you're being and helping me expand my awareness. And so I invite you to just notice for yourself if there's a way you can start to see where you're starting to withhold and maybe choose something different. Maybe I don't need to tell somebody, oh, you need to agree with me or think like this, but I'm willing to maybe say, here's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it because it's just where I am at this moment. Or here's my truth, or here's what's happening inside of me. All of a sudden, we gain so much insight and awareness by each other's reflection. And I, for one, love the beauty and magnificence and diversity of our world. And I'm grateful that you are a part of that. So let's find some new inner freedom and express ourselves in whatever way we feel called to in this moment. There's no requirement here, and I am grateful for that. Welcome, Arlen Verglas, and grateful for each one of you. Thank you for expressing yourself, bringing your presence into the world, and may you have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye-bye.